The story begins with the boss monster of the Earth area, the Frost Queen, fighting a boy named Spectre, one of the 5 heroes. Spectre manages to defeat the Frost Queen with his ultimate attack, but as a result, his body goes into hibernation until the Frost Queen's nucleus is fully absorbed into his body. This causes Spectre to be cryogenically frozen for 25 years. When he awakens, he realizes that the ability he gained from defeating the Frost Queen, the skill called Frost, is the only way to save his other frozen comrades. He decides to abandon his name of Spectre the Legend and start anew as his real name, Seo Junho. As Seo Junho reaches the last boss level to defeat the Frost Queen, a fierce fight ensues. The Frost Queen provokes him, saying that his friends will die because he abandoned them. Seo Junho dodges the Frost Queen's ultimate attack and kills her, but he is unaware that the person who kills the Frost Queen will absorb her power and go into hibernation until they fully absorb her nucleus. The story then flashes back to 76 hours earlier, when the heroes enter the final dungeon and decide that Seo Junho should be the one to fight the Frost Queen because his skills are more advantageous against her ice-based abilities. 25 years later, a speaker is telling children about the story of the 5 heroes defeating the Frost Queen. Suddenly, the frozen statue of Seo Junho begins to melt. When the time for the Frost Queen's nucleus absorption is over, Seo Junho awakens, much to everyone's shock. In the hospital, a doctor tells Seo Junho that someone wants to meet him. After removing his mask, Seo Junho's old friend Dyaku comes to visit him and tells him about the current state of the world. Dyaku tells Seo Junho that after he defeated the Frost Queen, the world rejoiced with tears, but peace did not last long. They learned that there are 10 different floors to clear to achieve peace, and after hearing this, the bigger players of the world's associations and higher political bodies gathered to create an expedition squad to clear the frontier. After the expedition team arrived, they learned that the second floor was a land of opportunity, and that by discovering it, humanity gained great knowledge, new magic skills, and technology. Upon learning that the world has only advanced to the second floor in the 25 years they were frozen, Seo Junho is shocked and fiercely questions Dyaku about it. Dyaku explains that they were unable to beat the third floor because it is a volcanic region that can only be defeated by players with frost abilities, or the power of the Frost Queen's nucleus. Seo Junho is in disbelief and cannot tell Dyaku that he absorbed the Frost Queen's nucleus. He then goes to visit his old friends' frozen statues and tells them about the new, peaceful world that they dreamed of, and tells them to rest in peace. Suddenly, when he touches the Ice Ability Hero's statue, he realizes that he can break the seal and bring his friend back if he gets the power of the Frost Queen's skill, Frost X. The next day, in the hospital, Dyaku tells Seo Junho about the existence of fiends in the current world, players who use their awakened powers to commit crimes and terrorism. Dyaku tells Seo Junho that the only way for him to return as a new player is to abandon his Spectre name and use his real name, Seo Junho. Seo Junho desires to go to the 10th floor, so he tells Dyaku about his unintentional absorption of the Frost Queen's nucleus. As he has the frost skill, he decides to move on to the 3rd floor, which is a volcanic region, to save his comrades. Seo Junho asks Dyaku for a beginner player license, but it is unknown to him that to join higher guilds, he must attend the public licensing exams and pass them. Soon, they arrive at the licensing exam site, and Seo Junho uses his enhanced hearing skill to dive into the minds of the other test takers. As no one passes the test, the last contestant, number 75, Seo Junho, enters the arena with many weapons, making everyone think that he is a copycat of Spectre. The exam begins and Seo Junho easily kills all the enemies, boasting about his archery skills that he learned from one of the 5 heroes, Gilbert Green. With his katana, Seo Junho finishes the last wave of enemies and passes the test. However, just fighting for a few minutes makes him realize that he needs to train his body again. Everyone praises him, even though he is a D rank, for passing the test. Later, Dyaku gets Seo Junho his beginner player license, but warns him that his body may not be able to handle the danger of the uncleared gates. Despite Dyaku's insistence for Seo Junho to stay safe, he still wants to go to the uncleared gates for his own gain. Dyaku tells him that he can only go to one gate at level 1, the gate called Curse of Dawn, which only 142 people have attempted to clear in 7 years. In preparation for the upcoming danger, Deokgu gives Seo Junho his armor, Fufufu, which was made by Kwon Noyage, an old man from Spectre's age who is still alive. Deokgu prevents Seo Junho from meeting Kwon, as the fiends are aware of the relationship between Spectre and Kwon, which could pose a danger to Seo Junho's identity. Later, as Seo Junho reaches the Curse of Dawn Gate, he sits down under a tree and is suddenly attacked by a zombie from underground. Seo Junho unleashes his other ability, Hunter's Knight, and traces all the undead monsters in the gate. He fights them, knowing that they are undead, but even after killing many of them, he realizes that there are still so many left. He becomes panicked. As he fights, Seo Junho hears a mysterious voice in the novice graveyard, and follows it to a coffin. He tries to help the person calling him but is unaware that it is the creator of the graveyard. After Seo Junho shoots at the person's head in the coffin, they emerge and rage towards Seo Junho. However, because Seo Junho is a legend, he finishes them off in a single blow. He realizes that all 142 players who reached this point have died and never cleared the gate because of this trick. After his mission is successful, he receives a skill called Confession of the Dead, which allows the user to peek into the memories of the dead.
After Seo Junho successfully passed the uncleared gates, it became top-notch news for the world and the guilds. This made his friend Deokgu happy, seeing his friend being the center of attraction. It is revealed that Youngho, our protagonist, don't want to reveal his identity as one of the 5 heroes. Deokgu asks him why don't he get higher status being the hero. He explains that he wants to be like a legendary limited edition hero, thus riling up the public to find his identity. According to Seo Junho, quick-witted people will be the first ones to know that he is the one who cleared the uncleared gates. It will also attract reporters in need of revealing his true identity as Spectre. After this, Seo Junho trains to build his old physique and stamina as Spectre, one of the legendary 5 heroes who defeated the Frost Queen. Junho then checks the news, which shows that some gates started rupturing as they are left open for too late. He got to know that Korea's oldest uncleared gate, Loof Garden, was left alone, that made monsters thrive, and it became an open gate, clearing which will get him bigger rewards from the government and associations. The gate was attempted by 124 players, but none of them was able to clear it, so they left it for other countries to solve the mystery. He got to know that they hired Tushar Vichy, a super rookie from India known as a genius with a bow, to clear the gate. After knowing his potential, Seo Junho was shocked to know that even after being at the level of Gilbert Green, one of the 5 legendary heroes, Tushar wasn't able to clear the gate, and after all that, no one tried to pass Loof's Garden ever again. This made Seo Junho anxious as he tries to prepare his skills thoroughly. He thinks that exercising made him strengthen up more, and at his level he should be able to clear the gate. But the failed attempt of Tushar Vichy makes him look for the hidden threats. Seo Junho believes in his power as he has finally got used to the frost skill he got from killing the Frost Queen. Next day, our protagonist moves into Loof's Garden. As soon as he arrives on the Loof Garden, Junho finds a maze. Knowing that the monsters called Loofs will emerge at night, Seo Junho sits down to get some rest. Later that night, sudden arrival of the Loofs surprises Junho. Seo Junho laughs as 2 monsters are no big deal for him at his current level. He then kills the Loofs using his gained Frost X skill. But as soon as he killed the 2 Loofs, a sudden monster wave surprises Seo Junho. Seo Junho, being at higher level, single-handedly killed all the monsters. But as soon as he killed them, they got multiplied, which made him realize that they get multiplied when they are killed. Using his Frost skill, Seo Junho killed the monsters, but in compensation for his stamina. Still, one thing bothers our hero, that it was not impossible for 4 players including S-tier Tushar Vichy came, still they didn't succeed. Seo Junho is not able to digest that even a higher level player with his 4 teammates failed to clear the gate. Even after clearing the Loof Garden, Seo Junho is in disbelief of Tushar's failure. Later, when Seo Junho enters the maze, he only finds dead bodies around him, which made him think that it was such a time waste. As soon as he reaches the end of the maze, Seo Junho finds a dead body lying down with a bow known as Tempest. He then describes the bow Tempest as a wind flowing through the storm, provided to Vichy by the Indian government. When Seo Junho finds Vichy's dead body, he also finds a notebook beside him. Notebook is written by Tushar Vichy, in which he describes how he got the job of clearing the Loof's Gate in Korea. Even after the official warns him that he might not return from there, Tushar, knowing his values taught by Lord Vishnu, confidently accepts the mission. His fiancée Zaya, not leaving him alone, also came with him as a true partner. Story then moves to a baby sending her father off after she takes a promise to visit zoo after her dad's job is over. He also came with Tushar for his help as a fellow friend of him. The day after, they arrive at Indira Gandhi International Airport in Delhi, India. Tushar and his friend meets where Zaya and Ram are waiting for them. Later on, reaching the Luff's garden, they all found it very beautiful for being a deadly gate. But being aware of the place, Tushar assigned everybody with the job of scouting the area. Later that night, as the monsters arrived, they got multiplied as soon the 4 killed them. One of the teammate got injured heavily, shocking Tushar. Being overpowered by the monsters, they tried to hide into the maze, but his friend died, leaving him with the job to protect her daughter, which left Tushar in tears. Later, Tushar is seen praying to Lord Shiva for their well-being. He then writes into his diary about the waves and the number of monsters left that they kept on killing. But the next night, as his partner Zaya dies, he cries and loses all his hope for leaving the place. Suddenly, Ram attacks Tushar from behind, revealing his true identity as a fiend. When asked by Tushar why did he betray them even after he was Zaya's friend, he answers, his lover's stupidity made it super simple for him. Ram then asks Tushar to hand over his Tempest and then join his dead teammates. Tushar then tries running away, but his poisoned hand gives him a hard time. He reaches the end but later died writing his story in the notebook and in the hope that someone will find it out. Tushar worshipped Lord Shiva till his last breath and passed away in the hope that the fiend will be killed. After reading Tushar's story, Seo Junho promised him that he will take revenge against the fiend, then left him to rest, calling him India's young hero. Next day, Deok-gu came early and tells Jungho that now whole world knows his true identity. Along with that, he tells Jungho that Indian government thanked him for retrieving the diary of their brave player, Tushar. Deok-gu says Tempest, even being a national defense weapon, was given to Tushar. Meanwhile, Junho shows Deok-gu the Tempest. It shivers him off as it belongs to the Indian government, whereas Junho tries to borrow it. Junho wants to keep the Tempest till he finds that fiend. Deok-gu tells Junho about the infamous bow collector, Demon Bow Calciner. Seo Junho knows that the fiend will surely come at him with that wanted man with even more power than he had during Tushar's time. Deok-gu tells Junho that reporters wants to take his interview regarding his success in Luff's garden. Junho, then not giving any shit about his identity, decides to have a press conference. Later, as press conference starts, everyone waits for Seo Junho, the bright star who cleared the impossible gate so easily, but our protagonist arrives in slippers which made them doubt their beliefs. Junho declares that he will take questions for 30 minutes. As soon as he spoke, reporters showered him with the questions. When asked about what next gate our protagonist Seo Junho will be visiting, he tells them that it will be the Eastern Sea Gate. One reporter tells that it is the last uncleared gate in Korea, clearing which will make him the super rookie. Other reporter asks that it may be declared as rank 1 gate based on its difficulty. Can Seo Junho still clear it? Seo Junho tells them boss monsters are nothing for him at his current level. Then a certain person comes into the story judging Junho on his third chance as he wants to see his skills. His secretary then explains if Seo Junho do the impossible, then Shin Sung-hyun, the leader of Korea's top guild, Goblin, will invite him personally. On the other hand, Deok-gu shows Seo Junho his first ever commission, a request from a father to find the core of the Cinder Fox which will help him cure his daughter's terminal disease. Deok-gu shows Junho that he need to clear the gate called Burning Dunes to get the core. The gate recently opened up 3 months ago, but still monsters inside it, killed 7 teams. Here enters a pretty lady invited by Deok-gu named Cha Si-yoon to join Seo Junho as his secretary and manager. Later on their way, Cha and Seo talks about Myungho Group being the #1, famous for protecting the royals and having clean taxes, but Cha explains a tragedy struck their perfect life which made them shattered, as Myungho Group's owner Choi Pil-ho's eldest daughter got 9 yin severance syndrome, a syndrome that exists in people with higher yin energy, and its only cure is to have something with higher yin energy transplanted into that person's body. Cha explains that one of the way to treat the disease is to have the core of Cinder Fox which Legend Spectre hunted 29 years ago. She tells him that Spectre is the one she admires the most, which makes him shy. Later, when they both arrive at Choi Pil-ho's mansion, he came in person crying and begs Junho to save his daughter Hee's life. And this brings us to the end of this part. I am going to take some rest, so please like the video and subscribe the channel. Watch out first part of this manhwa recap on left and other recap videos on right. Take care.